bad.
Hey guys, just finished watching Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 7, The Book of Blood, Chapter 3, The Sage. This episode was kind of interesting. I mean, it was kind of fun dealing with the different stuff that goes on. You have this episode, start off this episode with Jennifer kind of in like the dream state with the I guess the power trainer girl type thing. And I think that was kind of interesting dealing with that, how she wants to live a normal life, but the parents are not letting her, so she's not even comfortable talking to her parents about this because they just don't understand her, and they just kind of want to just keep her locked up, or not locked up, keep her at home type thing, so she doesn't get into trouble or accidentally shock anyone and stuff. And it's interesting seeing how things kind of go on with that storyline for this episode. We also see that Black Lightning finds he finds some of the family and the father kind of tied up to the tree and stuff like that from the last episode. The father of the girl who had the twins in the last episode, and that was kind of interesting dealing with that. And I thought that he was assuming that we're all dead, tied up to the tree there, but later on at the end of the episode we do see that he's alive and stuff. So that was all cool seeing them alive. We see that Black Lightning ends up is knocked out and stuff, taken in by some of the white sage, the sage and stuff, and by Locker and her gang. And after Nyssa told him to not go there alone, and then we see the silver in the jar that Nyssa had in her pocket that she took from the twins' father, and it starts to move towards the baby and stuff like that, and that was really cool seeing that. And we see that they kind of lock it into, they take Black Lightning, they try to electrocute Black Lightning, which is so silly, it was a cool idea seeing him get done that, and that makes sense, but, they never would think that, charging him up might, give him his powers, and they all have powers without a suit, They're metas. They've probably heard of metas out in the city of Freeland, They're not that far outside of the city of Freeland to not hear about people getting meta powers from the green light and stuff. So it just seems a bit silly that they would kind of even electrocute Black Lightning, since it's not uncommon for someone to have powers without the suit, and assuming that the suit is giving him powers is a little bit silly, Now, maybe the idea that Black Lightning's been around, he was Black Lightning years ago, and, there were no meta-humans meta people back then, but still, assuming that his powers come from the suit, it's a awful huge gamble when there's so many other ways you could torture him, waterboarding, all kinds of other ways you could actually do him, getting a torch and just kind of burning his fingers, burning his feet, burning him, stabbing him, even like stabbing him like in the early seasons of Arrow when they were stabbing Oliver Queen on the island. There's just all kinds of ways of doing that, of torturing him to try and get information out without actually, electrocuting him and risking charging him up. And how silly would that be? And be like trying to give Superman a sunburn. It's just kind of stupid, right? You're not gonna, there's no way you're gonna do it. No matter how powerful of a magnifying glass you get on the sun, you're not gonna burn Superman, right, with the sun. You're just gonna solar charge him, right? So I think that was kind of silly with that, and just so much other ways. Now I'm not sure if she was the way they kind of played it off. It looked like they zapped him with electricity, and then she was able to kind of get information from his head. Did that kind of do that? I don't know. It was just kind of silly as to how they were doing that. Maybe that's just kind of the setup that they have, but still, how they not see that coming? That they would end up charging him up, type thing. That was kind of silly. And I would have liked to have seen his level of powers. Yes, he was faking being dead the whole time, but I'd like to have seen him, they were electrocuting him, and then they kind of finally turned it off after a while. But I would like to see if he would have been able to kind of zap drain the house of electricity. I'm assuming this house is separate from like the town grid, because maybe I'm not sure how much power he could absorb, because that would be an interesting idea to kind of play with, if there ever was like a power surge or something going on, where how much power could he absorb before he overloaded with electricity. He must have a limit, or if he doesn't have a limit, I think that'd be really cool to see as to how much power he could really have, right? That could be quite interesting to see that. And then I think and imagine that this building, this house, if it's out in the woods and then secluded from the city, it must have its own power type thing. Or maybe it still has the phone lines coming in, he has its own power from the city. I think it would be something interesting to play with that, to see him really kind of juice up. But it was really cool kind of seeing that there. We see that Jennifer meets up with Khalil throughout a few times out of this episode. That was kind of interesting to kind of dealing with their relationship. I think now Khalil's kind of coming into his own, he's kind of getting back into an interesting character, whereas before he was just kind of like annoying, which now it's going to be interesting to see is kind of where things kind of go with that character, just because, how is it going to deal with when he meets, when he deals with Jefferson Pierce and all that stuff. And if he ever finds out that Jefferson is Black Lightning, I think that really is going to be an interesting kind of road to take as to where things go with that. But I don't want them kind of playing with that just yet. I'd like to see as to where things go with that. So we see Black Lightning finds a crash drone that Gamby was using in the last episode, and that was like last episode. I was like, wow, how did they not see the drone there? It was like right there. And here he finally ends up walking upon it after he finds one of the twins and stuff, and he flies back into giving it back to Khalil, and giving the kid to back to her mother type thing, or he gives it to Bill Henderson, and then later on, I guess the child is given back to its mother. We see that Khalil ends up running away from Tobias after he tries to stop the Reverend and have the Reverend run away, but he still won't do anything like that. So I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things are going to go with Khalil and stuff. We see Jennifer shows Khalil her powers, and that was interesting seeing that, so she has an idea of how to use it. I guess there's some time passing in between the episodes, but like it picked up with Black Lightning still in the woods looking for the child, following the silver liquid, silver goo stuff, and Jennifer knows somewhat how to control her powers, and she was able to kind of at least maybe not control her powers, maybe she was just absorbing the light, to kind of absorbing the electricity out of the light bulbs to burst them, to turn the powers off, so that Khalil could get away. But he got away in a way using his powers and stuff, which was kind of cool, but just kind of making a lot of noise. They didn't kind of hear, like, oh, there's a noise over there, let's run over there, right? Like, the guys didn't know to do that. So that was kind of interesting to see where things go with that. And we have Black Lightning that Black Lightning Thunder end up beating Looker, and decide to send her to the ASA because they're the only ones who can really hold her, and she's going to deserve all the studying of her that they that she gets, right? And that's really going to be on them. So I think it's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. It might not be a good idea to give her to the ASA. They might do something evil with her powers, especially if she's able to control people against their will using her powers. I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things kind of go with that. What are the ASA going to do with that? And hopefully they kind of bring that in. Like, I'd like to see them hold on to that, study that, bring it in, but not this season, maybe next season, maybe at the end of next season. If not, wait till like season 4 and then do it, and rather just kind of hold on to it rather than diving into it so soon. We see that he ends up finding Gamby, so that'll be interesting to see as kind of where things go with that, if he ends up telling the rest of his family or how things kind of change. But it looks like he'll be busy dealing with the trailer for next week's episode, also dealing with Jennifer leaving with Khalil, and she doesn't. When she kind of revealed her powers to him, and they were about to leave and stuff. He asked, does your parents like this? And she doesn't reveal that, her father is Black Lightning. And I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things go as to when Khalil finds out that Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning. And that's one thing with Jefferson Pierce being such a prominent person in the town. So it was surprising that the Looker and her gang didn't recognize Jefferson Pierce when they took the mask off of Black Lightning, and there was no kind of safety in his suit to stopping that, from getting knocked out. I mean, Batman classically has stuff in his suit to stop him from doing that. He had it in the Dark Knight and all that stuff. So I think that would be something that he needs to have. But I guess since it's just a mask, it's something a bit different that he can't have with that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see is the idea with kind of Jennifer with Khalil, and whenever he ever finds out that Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning, I'd like to play with it first. I really want to dive into the whole, her parents finding out that she took off with Khalil. It looks like they're going to find out about that from Anissa in the next episode, but I think it's what really going to be interesting to see is to kind of how their relationship continues on, and then once their relationship continues on, the relationship gets we solve the problem with with Jennifer and her parents and stuff. Then I'd like to tackle the whole keep it later on and play the long game with the whole Khalil finding out that Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning and and is Thunder. I think that would definitely be something to play with later on as time goes on. I think that would be cool. And once they kind of see as to where things go with that, and then play with a long game with that storyline rather than kind of having it revealed early on, Because if all of a sudden Black Lightning just shows up to help them to find Anissa, to find Jennifer, it would be kind of weird for him to just kind of figure it out that way. So I think it could be interesting to see as to kind of where things kind of go with that storyline. So all in all, we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with this. We'll have to wait and see as to where things go. This episode was kind of okay. I'm really excited to see as to where things go with Grace Choi, Anissa's girlfriend, since she has some powers and stuff, and I think it's really interesting to see as to where things go, where she's kind of infected. She's somewhat of a meta, and then it'll be interesting to see as to once they kind of, once she reveals her powers, how is that gonna change her relationship with Anissa? And I think that'll be an interesting idea to see as to kind of where her powers kind of take her throughout this show. So all in all, so far, it's getting me kind of interested. Nothing seems like it's ramping up anywhere to going anywhere. Like, I'm not super excited as all my other shows. So far, it's kind of my least favorite of the shows, but I think it's going to be an interesting idea to see as to where things got to continue on with this show. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Where do you think things are going? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.